Good evening, dear students. I am Rajesh and you are watching your favorite YouTube channel Learning with Rajesh. In ninth class history, we are going to start history book and lesson number 1 is the French Revolution. We will do our first chapter today and the name of chapter you know that the French Revolution. And firstly, there will be a question in your mind that, sir, why revolution? What were the major reason of revolution in France at that time? So first point we learned in the lesson, the background of the revolution. On the first page we learned that people of France revolted and attacked on the fort of Bastille on 14 July 1789. So after that we learned that there was a different type of society there in France at that time, and you also learned about king. So that's why we will learn about the different reason of French Revolution in the lesson. So that's why I wrote the first point, why revolution. What were the main reason of revolution? Why people revolted against the dictator king or the monarch named as Louis XVI? First reason is political reason. Louis XVI was the ruler of France at that time in 1789. He was dictator. You know that dictator is a ruler which has no control of any power. He has only his or her power. She has, or it means they have only their power. Next is he used to spend money on luxurious things. You know that luxurious things are like motor vehicle and what type of ACs. These are known as luxurious things, you know. He increased taxes. This is the main reason, political reason of French Revolution, that he increased taxes. And he also spent money for helping America from freeing the colonies from Britain, because Britain controlled 13 colonies in America, and to free them France helped America, and that's why Louis XVI spent a lot of money on this for this purpose. I think you learned easily the political reason. Next is social reason. French society was divided into three parts, or means three estates. First estate consisted of clergy and second estate consists of nobility, and in third estates businessmen, peasants, laborers, servants were included. It means higher part of population in France included in third estate. Now you only learnt about the French society and what were the major problem in the society. Nextly, third estate used to pay taxes. It means first and second estate were allowed not to pay taxes. It was their birthright. If you are born in first or second estate, you are free from, or you are conjuncted from paying taxes. I hope you easily learned this point. Next is peasants also obliged to serve the Lord. They paid taxes, and on the other hand peasants also obliged to serve the Lord in the fields or in the court also. And church too extracted taxes on people. Church also the additional tax extracted on the people, and this tax was known as tithe. Nextly, economic reason. You learned in Palampur story of village Palampur about the economic activities. There was a rising in population at that time in France and shortage of food. That's why there was shortage of food because land is limited. And that's why shortage of food, price hike in the food things, and less wages were paid to the laborer at that time in France. That's why they revolted against Louis XVI. I hope this economic reason is also clear to you. Nextly, philosophic reason. In the class time, or I told you that what do you mean by philosophic reason here? It means there were many philosophers at that time in the society of France. They wake up the people, they rose their intentions to revolt against king. Philosophers such as John Locke and Rousseau played an important role to wake up people. And they also wrote some books. In these books, they criticized the king, Louis XVI, and they also criticized the divine power of the king. You know that there were many philosophers such as Locke, Rousseau, and Montesquieu. John Locke wrote a book named as Two Treatises of Government, and Rousseau wrote a book named as Social Contract, and Montesquieu wrote the book named as The Spirit of the Laws. Spirit of the Laws. In these books, they criticize the king or wake up the people to revolt against the king. Next is they criticize the policies of king, and they were also against the divine power of the king. I already told you. So they advised people to wake up and raise a revolt against the monarch or dictator. Next is immediate reason. You know that on 5 May 1789, Louis XVI called a meeting to increase taxes. When there were process of voting, Louis ordered to vote one for each estate. When there was meeting time or voting time in the meeting, Louis XVI told that each estate has one vote only. But the third estate demanded that each member should have one vote. You learned that first and second estate sent 300 representatives in the meeting, and on the other hand, third estate sent 600 representatives in the meeting that was called for the purpose of increasing in the taxes. But Louis XVI denied for such type of voting each member one vote. That's why they walked. It means the third estate members walked out from the assembly in protest. It was the immediate reason. I hope it's clear to you that what were the main immediate reason of French Revolution. Next is action against Louis XVI. The representative of third estate declared themselves as a national assembly, that they are equal to the national assembly, you know, that like a parliament. And nextly, the leader of this third estate assembly known as national assembly was Mirabeau and Abbé Sieyès. These were two leaders of the third estate or the national assembly. Finally, they revolted against the king and they advised the king to accept the national assembly and give some relaxation. Finally, Louis XVI approved the national assembly and gave some relaxation in such type abolition of feudal system and abolition of birthright and other system like and he also created equality. It was the major decision at the time of National Assembly approved by Louis XVI. I hope you learned the point that what were the main action by representative of third states. Nextly, after the declaration of National Assembly or approval of National Assembly, after 1 2 year in 1791, France became constitutional monarch. There was a constitutional monarchy set up in France. Now the major question will be in your mind, sir, we don't know about the constitutional monarchy. Constitutional monarchy means when there is written, clearly written in constitution that the monarch will be the head of the government, or means the government will be run by the monarch. It is known as constitutional monarchy. And you learned that in France constitution it was written that there will be monarch which will run the government and who will run the government. Drafting of constitution in 1791. You know that while making the constitution, after they or while making the constitution they wrote that there will be constitutional monarchy in France. And what was the next provision in the constitution? Powers divided. Powers divided in legislature, executive and judiciary. It was the second major provision of constitution of France. Next is power to make laws was vested in the hand of National Assembly. It means National Assembly has power to make law in the country. And only men above 25 years, 3 days of a laborer's wages tax pay should have a right to vote. To tell you again, in constitution it was written that if you are 25 year or above and you have to pay tax equal to 3-day wages, you will have a right to vote in France in 1791. It is written in constitution. And declaration of rights of man and citizen also written in that constitution made in France in 1791. And what were the major rights there? Right to life, freedom of speech, freedom of opinion, equality before law. These were major rights given to man and citizen in the country according to Constitution of 1791. I hope you got these points easily. After that, France becomes a republic. You learned that firstly France was ruled by monarch, and then it turned into constitutional monarchy, and then it turned into a republic country. Firstly, perhaps there will be a question in your mind, what do you mean by republic? Republic here means a republic is a country or as a form of government where people elect the government, including the head of the government. This system or this type of government is known as a republic. I hope you got the point clearly or easily. Next, Jacobian clubs. After making a republic country, France, there were a rise of Jacobian clubs. Firstly, you will learn that what types of activities involved or included in that Jacobian clubs. The members of Jacobian club belong to the less prosperous sections of society. It means they were like peasants and like slaves and the poor people. These poor people included in Jacobian clubs. The leader of Jacobian Club was Maximilian Robespierre. Maximilian Robespierre. And the dress was, there was a uniform for Jacobians, and the dress was long stepped trousers. Long stepped trouser, you know that. Why this dress? Now the next question, why this dress? They started this dress wearing to proclaim the end of power wielded by the upper class people. It means the upper class people used to wear the knee breeches. The knee breeches means breeches up to knees. But on the other hand, Jacobians were wearing long stepped trousers, and that's why they used to wear long stepped trousers. They were known as, it means Jacobians were known as sans culottes. Sans culottes. Now the meaning of sans culottes here means those without knee breeches. Without knee breeches. And then a right to vote is also given after some time. It means 1791, only 25 plus, and some other conditions were also there. But nextly, right to vote given to all the people in the country, all men about 21 and above, with the efforts of Jacobian Club, Jacobians. Next, Declaration of Republic. 21 September 1792, France became a republic country. And you learned that what is the meaning of republic country. And nextly, you learned that in a republic country, Jacobian played an important role. And they were the lower class people, and you know that they wear strip, I mean the long trousers, and they were also known as sans cloths. And with the effort of these Jacobians, France became a republic, and people got a right to vote who were about 21 years of age. But one thing you have to keep in your mind, women did not allowed to have vote. Only when men were allowed to give vote of 21 plus year. I hope you got all the points of today. If you learned easily, if you joined the session, please share and like also. And if you are new on my YouTube channel, please subscribe the channel, like and share also. Thank you and have a good night.